Hey guys, today we're going to read a couple more pages in our social studies textbook. Um, and I want you to add to your chart as I'm reading, all right, and get some really good notes written so that later this week you're going to be writing me a paragraph and building me a picture that I haven't told you about yet. It's a surprise later. Okay, so just make sure you're taking good notes so you have those for later this week. So this chapter is lesson 2, and it's the Spanish settlements in Texas. The Spaniards occupied the land, setting up missions and towns. A mission is a settlement where religion is taught. The Spanish missions were homes to missionaries and American Indians. The Spanish government was motivated to build missions in order to expand and protect their territory and claim and develop land. Okay, so that might be something you write down. They also wanted to teach Catholic beliefs and work skills to native people. That might be a change. Building missions. The Spanish began to build Catholic missions in Texas in the late 1600s. At the missions, American Indians were given food and protected from enemies. The missionaries taught them Spanish language and religion. American Indians were put to work farming or making goods. Sometimes they were forced to live and work at the missions. Discipline was part of their daily life, and at times they were treated poorly. The first Texas mission was called Mission Ysleta. It was built for the Tigua Indian group in 1682. The settlement that grew nearby is now the city of El Paso. The mission's church is open to this day. In East Texas, missions were built near French Louisiana to establish settlements and a claim to the land. These settlements could discourage the French from competing for land and coming into the area and along the coast. So over here we have a picture. It says people still worship in Mission Ysleta, the first mission of Texas in El Paso. Oh, it's so pretty. And it looks pretty good to be that old. It was built in, what was it, 1682? Yeah, that looks pretty nice. They must have taken really good care about it. Let's see. Other missions were founded on the San Antonio River. The largest is Mission San Jose, built around 1720 near present-day San Antonio. The American Indians in the mission developed a large piece of land as they learned ranching and farming skills. By 1749, they were herding 2,000 cattle and 1,000 sheep. They irrigated the farmland and grew corn, beans, lentils, potatoes, sugarcane, cotton, melons, and fruit. They built flour mills run by water power, a granary for storing corn and wheat, and workshops. They also built houses on the grounds of the missions, creating a community. This allowed for the economic development and growth of this community. Today, the mission is called the Queen of the Missions. It is part of the San Antonio Missions National Historical Park. So here's just a layout of what it looks like. And this is San Jose Mission in Texas. Alright, presidios and villas. Some American Indians did not want missions built on their lands. For example, in 1680, not far from Texas, in what is now Santa Fe, New Mexico, the Pueblo Indians fought and drove the Spanish from their lands. To protect missions from attack, the Spanish sent soldiers. They established forts called presidios near the missions. The arrival of soldiers helped develop an area because they carried news and mail. They protected supply wagons and travelers to the region. Some soldiers and their families built homes near the presidio. Soon merchants came to sell them goods from Spain. Villas or towns often grew near the presidios. So here we have a map of the missions, presidios, and the villas of Texas. And you've got, see your legend or your key down there showing you what each of those little things represents. Yep, and every mission looks like it has a presidio close by. Villas also grew around successful missions, but the Spanish government worried that those villas were not enough. They needed more Spaniards to expand their territory and claim the land, so Spanish officials offered people land, livestock, tools, and weapons to move to Spanish Texas. Settlers came from Mexico and from other parts of the world. For example, in the 1730s, 55 people came from Spain's Canary Islands, a group of islands off the west coast of Africa. They settled around San Antonio and founded the town in 1731. In the villas, both men and women planted and harvested crops. Everyone helped with the animals. Some people in the villas offered services like trading or blacksmithing. For enjoyment, the people had dances, concerts, and fiestas or celebrations. In 1747, José de Escandón had a plan to establish a settlement. He said the lower Rio Grande was a good place for settlers to establish towns and start ranching and farming businesses. Spanish officials granted his plan and made him governor. A few years later, the colony had 23 villas. A few of them, such as Laredo, were in present-day Texas. The others were south of the river in Mexico. Today, Escandón is called father of the lower Rio Grande Valley because of his important work in developing the area. In fact, a statue of Don José de Escandón exists in Alice, Texas, which grew to become one of the largest cattle shipping centers in the United States in the late 1800s. So on the part where you're writing about the changes that happened, this would be a change. We didn't have in Texas before this all the presidios and the villas and the missions, okay? And so that was a change, all right? That was one of our changes you could put on your chart. All right, so that's all for today. We'll read some more tomorrow.